The Constitution of the United States, in Article 1, Section 7, states that all bills for raising revenue shall originate in the House of Representatives. Basically, whenever the Congress wants to raise taxes, the bill has to originate in the House of Representatives. The House of Representatives are the people that are directly elected by the people of the districts of the states. Unfortunately, there was a violation of the United States Constitution recently when the Congress voted to have a deficit reduction committee. Reduction committee had some senators appointed to it and some House of Representatives members appointed to it. And they're supposed to come up with plans to reduce the deficit. Now, if one of the plans to reduce the deficit is to raise taxes, then this is a clear violation of the Constitution. Only bills that are meant to raise revenue can only be originated in the House of Representatives, not in some combination of House of Representatives and the Senate. So this committee, the Deficit Reduction Committee, violates the Constitution in that area, but it also violates the Constitution in other areas. Every member of the House of Representatives needs to have an equal voice to be able to debate and decide which parts of the bill they want to vote for or against. They should have the right to make amendments to that bill. If I understand it right, the Deficit Reduction Committee is supposed to come up with a plan to reduce the deficit, and once they come up with a plan, then they give the plan to the House of Representatives, and the House of Representatives can either vote yes or no. They cannot make amendments, they cannot make debates, they cannot propose changes or anything like that, which this rule violates the idea of the Constitution in which each district in each state has a representative who can debate any bill that's being proposed and propose any amendments to it. So that is one way it's unconstitutional. The Honorable Senator Orrin Hatch sent a letter to me asking me for suggestions that I could give to the Deficit Reduction Committee. And in one of the questions he asked, what would I recommend? And I said, cut government spending. And then he also asked, what do you believe the income threshold should be for raising taxes? My answer was, I do not believe that we should raise taxes on anyone during a weak economy. He also asked if you have other suggestions for how the Supercommittee should find over $1 trillion in savings, please write your message below. Therefore, I wrote back. I said, Dear Honorable Senator Orrin Hatch, never ever raise income taxes on anyone. Only with massive tax cuts and tax eliminations can our economy recover and generate private enterprise prosperity, jobs, and revenue. Reduce the federal mandates on private companies so that they become free to expand jobs inside America instead of being forced to move their engineering to India and open up factories in Mexico and Asia to keep from going bankrupt. Relax the labor laws that discourage American jobs. Repeal the 16th Amendment. Completely replace income tax and inheritance tax with a national retail sales tax. Repeal NAFTA and GATT. Have Congress lay and collect uniform duties, imposts, excises as authorized by Article 1, Section 8 on imports to help remedy our trade imbalance. Withdraw from the WTO, the World Trade Organization. Stop sending any money to the World Trade Organization and the World Monetary Fund and the World Bank. Have the Congress itself regulate commerce, according to Article 1, Section 8, and have the Congress itself regulate trade with foreign nations using tools such as tariffs, as authorized by the Constitution. Get the United Nations out of the UN and stop sending money to the United Nations. Never pay for abortions anywhere in the world. Never fund Planned Parenthood, etc. Allow individuals to freely choose to opt out of Social Security and to direct their own retirement investments. Keep Social Security for those that want it or who do not know how to run their own investments. As the federal government sells lands it has previously purchased, Have the federal government stop buying more lands with the proceeds. Have the federal government sell much of its land holdings in Alaska, Nevada, and Utah to either to the states or to private buyers. Let companies and or individual states lease oil and mineral rights in national wilderness areas and national monuments. As authorized by the Federal Reserve Act, have Congress buy back the entire assets of the Federal Reserve System at par value and use the massive assets so acquired to erase the huge proportion of the national debt that the federal government owes to the Federal Reserve. Then Congress should follow its duty as given in Article 1, Section 8 to coin money and regulate its value and the value of foreign coin. Consider passing a Glass-Steagall Act type of law in an effort to prevent any future mortgage bank crisis and investment bank/commercial bank conflicts of interest. Defund and remove any office or department of government not specifically established and or supported by the actual wording of the Constitution of the United States, and according to the meanings of those words had in 1787. Abolish any program or policy not authorized by the Constitution, including but not limited to the following list. Now, if the government would use everything that's authorized by the Constitution and nothing more, then they should eliminate this entire list of things that I'm going to list. Bank bailouts, insurance company bailouts, solar energy company subsidies, farm subsidies, loan guarantees, student loan administration, Sallie Mae, unemployment insurance, workers' compensation, Head Start, food stamp program, Pell Grants, Department of Education, Department of HHS, Health and Human Services. Any project similar to Security and Prosperity Partnership of North America, the SPP. NACC type organization, USDA, DOC, DOE, DHS. But keep the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, the DOD, the DOJ, Army, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, etc. Those are the ones I said to keep. But we need to get rid of DOL, DOT, FDA, TSA, FCC, FAA, EPA, DEA, BATF, OSHA, HUD, FHA, UNICEF, UNESCO, UN Conference on Women and Families, No Child Left Behind, NAFTA, GATT, WTO, World Court, WHO, CDC, TANF, AFDC type programs, CHIP-like insurance, WIC, FEMA, TARP, recommendations from the Secretary to the President on strategies for promoting LGBT health and awareness, Obamacare, and anything like unto it, such as Romney Care, alcohol, drug abuse, and mental health services block grants, foreign aid, AIDS czar, anti-poverty czar, auto czar, bank bailout czar, climate czar, global warming czar, copyright czar, communications czar, consumer czar, cybersecurity czar, cyber czar, czar of censorship, drug czar, big picture economic czar, ethics czar, transparency czar, faith-based czar, green jobs czar, healthcare czar, technology czar, internet czar, health IT czar, information czar, infotech czar, manufacturing czar, performance czar, regulatory czar, science czar, urban affairs czar, weatherization czar, weapons of mass destruction czar, war czar, Office of Information and Regulatory Affairs, undeclared preemptive wars in foreign lands, nation building, unfunded and or funded federal mandates on the states, such as Medicare, Medicaid, minimum wage, Medicare, let states run it if they so choose, carbon tax, cap and trade, wilderness areas, national parks, national monuments, stem cell research, NPR, public television, National Endowment for the Arts, National Endowment for the Humanities, Deficit Reduction Committee, the Super Committee, etc., etc. Getting rid of all these agencies I've listed, except for the ones I said to keep, would go a long way to helping the Super Committee find over $1 trillion in savings just by going back to the things that the Constitution authorizes and eliminating all the things that the Constitution prohibits. I think we could save $1 trillion. Actually, we could save a lot more. If we just do what the Federal Reserve asks us to do and buy back the entire assets of the Federal Reserve System at par value and gain much more than the cost of the purchase in assets. Then once the United States Congress owns the Federal Reserve System again, cancel all the debts, because you don't have debts to yourself. Cancel all the debts, and the interest on the national debt would be gone.